Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good evening. So, as we plan that, let's talk about the agri output. Agri output means whatever we are producing after our effort, hard effort of doing farming, growing crop. So let me start with the previous video where we talk about some of the basics of hydroponics, where what is hydroponics means it is creating a better microclimate around the root zone is hydroponic. So that is we discuss what is hydroponic, what are those crops we can grow. So all these things we talk in my previous live stream where we discuss on the basics of hydroponics. So today what we are going to talk on, which is most talked topic in hydroponic industry so far. If I talk specifically on the output, means the produce. So people always talk whether the produce coming out of hydroponics is organic or inorganic, or it is superior to organic produce. So that's the question people are asking. So to understand that, the first step to get the some linkage or something like a clarity on this topic, it is required to understand the origin and what is organic. Yes, dear friend, we need to understand what is really organic produce and how it started. So what I'll share my own thought process around what is hydroponic and how it started. So if we study history of agriculture, our ancestors, they started with kind of subsistence farming, hunting, gathering, and followed by even shifting cultivation. And as the food demand increased, people were forced to opt for commercial farming, which is also known as intensive farming. So the moment we started intensive farming, so the न्यूट्रिएंट रिजर्वायर जो जो मिट्टी में न्यूट्रिएंट थे, जो आपका प्लांट न्यूट्रिशन है, जो स्टोर्ड है, दैट इज अ बास्केट ऑफ अ न्यूट्रिएंट प्रेजेंट इन सॉइल, that started depleting. And the worst part is the imbalance were happening. So when we started commercial and intensive farming, there was a significant imbalance in the nutrient basket which is present in the soil. So what happened? The crop started struggling. So if the crop started struggling, the growers were started looking for what is the cause for this. And the moment growers started looking for the cause, then they realized, yes, there is some nutrient deficiency. So that time, the laboratory, the infrastructure to analyze the soil nutrient or fertility status and balance your fertilizer was minimal. So yes, the growers were clever that time also. Then they started looking at what is the possible solution for this, and they find out the solution after a long effort, that yes, if we are using some organic source of plant nutrient, then this problem of nutrient deficiency is not there. Why so? Because whenever there is any plant nutrient source coming through the source of plants, whether it is farmyard manure, whether it is compost, whether it is vermicompost, because all are coming from the plant based sources like leaves, like food means the crop is straw. And in any of these plant based organic matter, the balanced nutrient or the presence of micronutrient is by default, because they are absorbing the nutrient, they are feeding the crop, and that's how the nutrient in their leaf is in almost a balanced proportion. And those clever farmers, they started using the plant based source of organic manure, the organic fertilizer, and they overcome their problem of nutrient deficiency. But that time, it is, I'm talking about when we started this organic farming, that time the pressure on land was not that high and availability of organic source of nutrients were pretty high. So that's how people started following the basic rule, the first step of organic farming, by using the organic source of fertilizer, which is by default containing all the micronutrients. And that was the start point for a organic farming. Gradually, what the growers, they introduce that yes, if we eliminate the use of harmful agrochemical, my produce is going to be much better, the quality is going to be superior. And as a second step in organic farming, the growers, they decided not to use this harmful agrochemical, which is really poisonous for us. And that was the point when we started this organic farming. So you can just try to understand the organic farming concept started with the struggle, and then this become a fancy item now, and people are looking for an organic produce or any other traditional produce. But here I like to tell you that in organic produce, the plants are absorbing their nutrient in form of iron only. So if the plant is absorbing nitrogen, the plant is going to absorb nitrogen either in the form of nitrate or in the form of ammonical ion. And the best part is, these plant root, they don't have any sensor, any kind of a tool or sensory organ by which they can differentiate whether this nitrate is coming through the organic source or it is coming through the synthetic fertilizer source. So just try to understand the plant physiology and use of the nutrient sources. So impact on produce quality is minimal if we are using a balanced source of plant nutrition, whether it is coming through the organic source or it is coming through the synthetic fertilizer. But the challenge is where? The challenge is using really a balanced nutrition is a challenge. So that's how, if we talk about the organic produce is majorly means analyzing or trying to prevent all those harmful residue of all those harmful chemicals in the produce. Hope you believe. And if you're not believing, I'll give you an example. So whatever the produce we are exporting with the organic certificate, they are analyzing the minimum residue level, which is the most important criteria for assessing the quality of organic produce. But there is no parameter which assess the nutritional value. If there is no such parameter, no such standard to analyze, those standard means the nutrient level in organic produce, then what is organic produce? The produce which is healthy, where we are not using any kind of a harmful chemical, or if we are using also, the residue should not be there. So that's how this organic come into picture. Here I like to put one more very exciting fact, and then maybe we'll move that how we can compare the hydroponic produce with organic. So a fact that most of the organic producers are in Asia and Africa. So if I say most of these organic producers, they are living in Asian or African continent. Why so? Why not the developed countries following this organic farming practice? They are producing very high unit area production by using all those high tech method, but they are importing all the organic produce from Asia and Africa. So this, I'm just giving you a fact. We have to understand that why this reality is, and we have to think that how it is impacting us. So let's now try to understand the basic premises of organic, and then we will just compare this with the hydroponics. So if we talk about organic, one, balanced form of nutrition. Second, there should not be any residue in our produce. So these are the two basic premises for organic produce. And if we talk about hydroponic, in hydroponic, because the soil is missing there is no buffering agent. Means in hydroponics the soil is not there, but in traditional farming soil is there, which is acting as a buffering agent, which absorb the shock because of any error done by or committed by the grower, and whatever is beyond the capacity of soil, that only reflects on the crop. And dear friends, in hydroponic there is no buffering agent. So the basic premises of hydroponic is using precise nutrition, using precise application of resources, which by default ensures balanced use of nutrition. And if the grower is using balanced and most optimal dose of nutrition, then the quality of produce coming out of hydroponic growing is either going to be at par with organic produce, or it is going to be superior than organic produce. Yes, there is a high possibility that the produce coming out of hydroponic is going to be superior than the organic produce. The second parameter, which is very crucial and important for organic farming, is zero residue level or zero use of agrochemical. Here, friends, I like to share my pain point for organic. Suppose I'm doing a organic farming and there is an insect attack, and that is higher than economical threshold level. So as a grower, I would prefer to even use the chemical which is safe instead of just waiting and watching destroying my crop by the insects and pathogen. So I'll definitely use that. But yes, I'll use any chemical using the science, because these harmful agrochemical, which is now getting a something taboo of it is like poisonous and dangerous, need to understand, because the science, these products are developed using different scientific knowledge, and there is a specific residue cycle of any harmful chemical in the market. So it is not that you are using that agrochemical is harmful, it is the faulty application of these harmful chemical is a, is an issue. And I 100% support that not to use any harmful chemical with limited knowledge. But if we come in hydroponics, again, One is precise application of resources and balanced nutrition. The second is minimal use of any pesticide or harmful agrochemical. If that is the case, and the grower, most of these hydroponic growers, they are literate, they know the science behind this growing crop. At least if the investor is not aware, but those growers, they are aware that if I'm using this agrochemical, then what is the residue cycle for that, and they are not harvesting immediately after applying their pesticide. First, they are not using the pesticide. Why? Because they are following all the hygienic practices, the hygiene. Second, what they are doing, they are creating better microclimate around the root zone. That is a hydroponic technically is. And if that is the case, if root is healthy, the shoot the plant is going to be healthy. And if the plants are healthy, then definitely the crop health is going to be much better. And you can understand who is going to struggle, the healthy plant or the plant who is struggling. And I am sure the answer, unanimous answer, is healthy plants have higher ability to fight with pathogens. And if that is the case, in hydroponic, there is less requirement of these type of harmful agrochemical. And if we are not using, again I'll say that hydroponic produce is either at par with the organic produce or it is superior than organic produce. There's a one more talk on this organic produce. The people give a justification that this organic produce, there are more than 18 elements. There are 56 elements in soil, and plant absorb all those nutrients, and that's how it is superior than hydroponics, because in hydroponics we are using only limited 16 elements. But dear friend, the basic premises of crop nutrition is there are essential nutrients. Essential nutrients are categorized that they are having some specific role in the plant. And if there is a no role of other 56 nutrient, then why there is a quality difference? Not only that, the grower in hydroponics, they have an option, an ability to even go for doing the fortification of produce. I'm talking about the fortification of the produce. How? Because here the soil dynamics is not there, so soil is not interfering in supplying nutrition, and the grower, whatever the grower is going to feed, is going to be eaten or absorbed by the plant. And yes, that's how there is a possibility that the grower can fortify his produce in hydroponic, but that is really, really limited in case of organic farming. So that's how I am just telling, even the hydroponic production system have an advantage over the organic production cycle. And the kind of scenario in India we are going to face in coming years is going to be such that the food demand is going to increase. And in hydroponics, you can achieve much higher production as compared to your any kind of a traditional farming. I'm not saying only the hydroponic means organic. Any kind of a farming practices, the hydroponic technique is having a potential to produce higher unit area return as well as higher productivity per unit area. So I'm not saying this just based on my own experience. Might be, friends, you are aware in some of the European countries, they have given hydroponic produce as an equal status to the organic produce. But my dear friends, the fellow growers, the kheti badi wala learn out of a hard effort and kind of a hard way of learning. But I want to share with you, don't indulge in this organic or inorganic. Proudly say that you are producing most healthy produce, and whoever want to assess the quality superiority of these produce over the organic produce, let's go join hand and we can analyze. Because yes, I've analyzed some of the produce and compare that produce. I'm talking about analysis in laboratory, the lab analysis, and we found, yes, the quality of hydroponic produce is one of the most healthy one. And even I would love to go for a research on finding if any kind of interested investor is ready to invest in this study. I would be happy to take up this study to prove on the ground that hydroponic produce is always superior on the organic as well as on the traditional produce. I tried to even do some research work on that, but I'm really helpless, or I should not say the helpless. I am lacking with the resources and for doing these lab analysis, because performing this experiment is much easier, but getting the resources is a challenge. So not only this, there is also one possibility, because if we talk about the nutritional status of any agri produce, it is being analyzed or standardized way back. Don't you feel like updating that information, performing some research around that, whether what we analyze iron content in spinach long back is still that way or it is different? If it is different, then we have to change our diet plan, because the dietary recommendation is based on those nutritional level. So there is a need for doing that analysis, and while doing that analysis, we have to understand the difference, the deviation of these two produce. So, if you ask me, what is my preference? I will always prefer a produce which is hygienically grown and produced with a educated or a grower who knows science of growing, instead of going for blindly organic produce. I a thought again pop up in my mind. The difference between hydroponic and organic produce is, most of these organic production or organic crop production is happening in open area, which allows any kind of contamination, be a soil, be a groundwater, be a air. But most of these hydroponic projects, they are in protected cultivation. They're away from these type of any kind of a source of contamination, like the soil is not there. So any contamination from soil, we are eliminating in hydroponics. Second, any source of contamination coming through water, the groundwater, in hydroponic, we are eliminating that also, because most of the hydroponic projects are operating on RO water. And the third is the contamination through air. So most of the hydroponic projects are in protected environment. So as a grower, we are eliminating the chance of contamination through air. So one, the healthy plant. Second, any source of contamination is being eliminating this in hydroponic growing system. So you need to judge whether the organic is better or hydroponic produce is better. So hope I managed to give you sufficient information around this subject. I would love to get any query on this subject, and I really want to discuss further on this. Whoever want to have a discussion around this topic, but we need to be very sure, very clear that what we are talking about. So with these thoughts, with these knowledge, I will just stop here for this topic. In next topic, I want to cover some of the basic operations of protected cultivation, because there is a lot of misunderstanding or lot of myth around how to manage the operations of protected cultivations, like how to open your shade. Means the shade net is always, most of the greenhouses, they have a shade net. So how to operate that shade net, when to operate your circulating fan, when to operate your fan and pad, when to operate your fogger, and when to open your vent, means top vent or a side vent. So in the next session, maybe we'll talk on the basic principles of managing the protected cultivation operations. To be very precise, how to manage your greenhouse to ensure better microclimate around the plants. And if the better microclimate is there, then definitely you are going to get better crop. So yeah, don't forget to comment, share your comments on this topic or the next topic. If you specifically want to know any kind of your query, so post in our comment box. And if feel like you want to join hand with me for disseminating knowledge around this high-tech farming, urban farming, or hydroponic growing, do subscribe my channel. So let's meet again for next live session. I'll schedule and I'll update to all of you on a different social media platform. So thank you very much for watching me and understanding the quality aspect of organic and hydroponic produce. So I'm taking a leave. Bye bye. We are going to meet in next live session or in next video. Thank you. Bye bye.